Greetings, my Israelite brothers and sisters, heirs, joint heirs. I hope everybody's doing fine, great, all of that good stuff. I cannot believe it is 88 degrees in South Florida. Wow, it is not even 12 o'clock yet. It's almost 12 o'clock. And it is 88 degrees, 88. I mean, it's like hot. South Florida. So, but nonetheless, I'd rather be here than be in the snow. I don't know if there's snow in any place in the country, but I know it's cold in places. So, I just wanted to always keep in touch with my subscribers and say hello. I hope that all is going well with everybody. It's noon. Maybe some of you are taking lunch or about to take lunch, and that's good because it's a good time to just come on and chat with you. I'm on my way places. How you doing, Mega Old School? I hope everything's going. She says it is freezing here in Alabama. Wow. Wow. Well, certainly our prayers are with you because being that you're freezing, I know that's not good. I know that's not good to be freezing. Uh, 88. I hate to rub it in, but it's 88. I have on a short sleeve shirt, as you can see. Um, so listen, there's a lot of great things going on. Friday night we have Bible study live again. We had a very good kickoff. It was great. It was awesome. Um, so that was the second one would be this coming Friday. How you doing, Tia? Um, it's going to be Friday, and we're looking forward to having a good service, a good lesson, and most of you, if you have not um, sent me an email at bethelhouseofgod@gmail.com to register so that I can get you linked up. Please don't forget to do that, especially if you like to be a part of the attendee list. In the attendee list, you'll be able to raise your hand, ask questions. Um, it allows us to better monitor, although we will be monitoring on YouTube Live as well. So you'll have a good time in Bible study. It's going to be a great lesson. I've been working on it, been preparing it. There's a lot that I'm doing these days in preparation for the weekly. And I called it weekly. I don't know if it's going to be weekly, but it may be weekly Bible studies on Fridays. It's kind of hard to tell it right now. It's easier to do, and because it's easy to do, and I'm able to get certain programs where I'm able to share more of the scriptures with you very quickly. It's great. Those of you that remember the first Friday Bible studies we used to try to have, I used to have to have 3 people, and between camera, working the camera, and also putting up the scriptures, it was difficult. We tried to do it at our congregation, but and it was like using the same staff who is there bringing the message live on the Sabbath, where you have 2 cameras and 2 people working the board, all of the equipment, and it was hard to do that and have them come down on first Fridays. So I want to thank all of you that do support in Patreon, because we were able to do some things that we're now able to do more effectively and yet efficiently. So thank you for that. because we're able to do that. So if you would like to and have not done so, don't forget to go to Patreon and do that. Just look up Pastor Johnson and Patreon, and you can do whatever whatever you're able to do on a monthly basis. Whatever you're able to do, and everything helps. So thank you for that. So tomorrow night, I'm going to be interviewing Benaya Israel. We're going to do something tomorrow night, so you want to tune in to that. Perhaps we may be able to open it up for Q&A. So we're trying to get a time right that we're going to do that. I think it's going to be about 7-ish or 8 tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to that. He's going to accompany us at the High Point, North Carolina Great Gathering Hebrew Conference. Things are going there pretty good. We have the host hotel. We have the conference room. We're lining up the program. We're still the brother who is doing that, Minister Anthony Douglas, who is the facilitator and the person that's bringing the Great Gathering Hebrew Conference. He's doing a lot of stuff in the background, and he's getting all the paperwork together with the conference there, with the Red Lion Hotel. Very nice conference rooms they have, very nice rooms. And Tia says she's already booked her room. Yes, and there's several others that have booked their room as well. We may get you a better rate. We're going to see how that goes on, so don't worry about that. But they should have given you a good rate anyway. But whatever else we could do, that would be helpful as well. So I'm excited. I'm just excited about that lineup and going there. We're going to be interviewing some of the musical talent that's going to be performing. We want to make this a full event, a 4 days event. Every day is going to be a 4-day. There's going to be something going on every day. There's going to be musical entertainment as well as the educational component that we're going to be bringing. We're going to be bringing the word. I mean, the word is going to be coming. So this is going to be awesome. So this is going to be a conference where it's going to be education, but we're also going to be bringing different lessons, the word, on the nights that we're going to be presenting. So you're going to have a great time at this conference. They do have a swimming pool. We don't know what that will end up being, if we're going to be able to do baptisms there or not. But certainly if we can, we're going to. So that's going to be great also. So many people have started to reach out that's in the area. They're glad. North Carolina, there's a lot going on in North Carolina. There's just this is another area where there's just a great awakening, and it's awesome. It's really awesome. So I'm looking forward to this. So, one of the things I do that, in trying to structure my day is you have the time where, I try to read the word, try to just continue to meditate in his word. You have to read the scriptures every day as much as possible to the best of your ability. You really do. At least I do, as a teacher and as a facilitator, because you always see something different that you didn't see before. And what's unique about the word is you can read something with one prophet and then turn around and read something with another prophet, but it just creates a bridge that has an opening of understanding. It's awesome how that just unfolds itself. Awesome. You can read something in Ezekiel that will give that you've already read in Zechariah, and because you got a second prophet that is giving you confirmation or saying the same thing, it just opens up the understanding altogether. And with the way prophecy works, you have to put prophecy on top of prophecy. It's almost like line upon line, precept upon precept. You have to put the prophecies together, and although they're very clear in what they're stating at that time, but it's even more enlightening when you take the two and combine them together to give you a very broader perspective of the prophecy. And once you get that, it's just awesome. Especially when you read how the Almighty is going to gather Israel one by one in the nations wherein they have been scattered. It's like all of the prophets are saying the same thing. People say, well, the Old Testament, they call the books in the Holy Scriptures that are from Genesis to Malachi, they label that Old Testament. But we know what it is. So let's just say the books from Genesis to Malachi. Those books are so important to prophecy, and they're so important to end time, that it amazes me how Christendom today has discounted those books as being relevant, or they are separate in what we have in the books of the testimonies, being Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, the letters of Peter, the letters of Paul. Those letters that were in those books that were written by the apostles or testimonies, you cannot get full understanding of what those brothers were saying until you understand Genesis through Malachi. And I'm talking about every prophet, every prophet. And this is why when Jesus was resurrected, he went back to the disciples, and in the book of John and in the book of Luke, it says that he began to expound unto them how all the law, all of the prophets, all of the Psalms speak or were written concerning him. It's amazing once you see that. I mean, every prophet was always talking about the Messiah. Every last one of them. There was not one who was not talking about the Messiah. They all were talking about the Messiah. And it's amazing once you see that, how the book of Psalms, I did a message a few weeks ago, and it was called Psalms, the book of Jesus and the book of David. And when you read that, it's amazing how so many passages in the book of Psalms is all about the Messiah and his crucifixion, his resurrection. I remember in Psalms 22:1, it starts off, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? I mean, it's just amazing. And that's why Peter in the book of Acts referred to David as the prophet. you know, in the book of Acts, Peter says David the prophet. Uh, he's David the king, but he called him David the prophet. And the reason why he did that was because after Jesus had showed these disciples who he was based upon the scriptures, and that's why in Luke it says, Jesus said, all the Psalms, all the prophets, all the scriptures speak concerning me. And they did. Every last one of them was speaking concerning him. So it's just an amazing book that when you read, that you get the vast amount of understanding that you get from just understanding the book. I mean, really just simply understanding and reading the book. And this is why I read it so much, because it gives you a wider perspective, a wider view on the spectrum of what everything is talking about. So this is why sometimes you say, I don't know why some of the so-called Hebrew Israelites have a problem with the New Testament. I just can't imagine. Why would you have a problem with it? And some do, not all, but some do. Some say, you know, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in as they don't call Paul, they say Saul, the Hebrew name, or whatever, you know, they say Saul. So that's why Peter in the second chapter, or in the second book of Peter, somewhere around the third chapter, he says, all of Paul's letters are hard to be understood, especially to those who already don't understand the scriptures. So if you don't understand the scriptures, it's difficult to understand what Paul is actually saying, because Paul talks in such a way, there's the assumption that you do know. So when a person talks about something that he thinks the audience knows, they tend to be a little skippy. And if you are coming in on a letter that you don't have the full history on, it can appear that you can take those scriptures and twist around to mean something and interpret to be something else. This is why a lot of people would throw up Galatians, the third chapter, to you, to say that we're not under the law. And if they understood Paul and what he was really saying, he was talking about the sacrificial law. And you have to read the book of Galatians thoroughly through. But Paul talked that way because there's an assumption that you know that he's talking about the sacrificial law. On top of that, the translation of that, it just uses the word law, but everybody knew, all the translators knew that this was talking about the sacrificial law. That's a lesson that I do at another time, maybe one Friday night we'll pick that up. But I just wanted to share that with you all, and I just want to say peace to you, and we'll talk soon, and you all be blessed, and